Hello everyone, and welcome to this year's edition of the Daily Cannon Tactics Board. Yes, I'm getting the joke in before you do, but Happy New Year everyone, where I, Stephen Bradley, bring you the tactical tweaks and quirks that come from Arsenal's pretty dominant 4-2 win over Brighton last year. Lol. But over the next 15-20 minutes or so, I'll go over how Arsenal set up against Brighton, how they've managed to kind of, get over the loss of Gabriel Jesus, I should say, so far, and how everyone else has stepped up. But also, at the end of the video, I'll show why I'm not ready to hop on that bandwagon that says Arsenal are going to win the Premier League. But I can't lie, I may be looking up timetables to see if I can hop on it. Because, I'll get into it. I'll get into it in 15 minutes. I won't spoil the video. But if you are interested in tactical videos like these, yes, they are up a little bit less usual than I'd like. Time, work, health, etc. I'm fine, by the way. Lost about a stone. The beard's going. I'm not too bad. A few of you have DM'd me. Thank you for keeping in touch. Hopefully going to get these out a little bit more regular now that I'm feeling in a better space. But hey ho. And yeah. Look, let's just get right into the video, because when Jesus went down for Brazil, week one of the World Cup, we were all like, uh-oh, this is not good. Because he was the linchpin of Arsenal's attack. He was able to fill in the spaces where, when Arsenal had the ball, he was always the overload. He was the extra guy. He knew where to be. He had the experience of being a number 9 in this system when playing for Pep and Manchester City. And as a result, he was the lad that was dragging along Martinelli and Saka and Odegaard and that, in teaching him the system and getting it going. Yes, he wasn't scoring goals, but he was creating room and making everyone else better around him. This isn't Nketiah's game at all. I know that, you know that. And over the last 2 games, he scored twice. And he scored twice because he's just doing what he does best, which is just getting good positions and taking shots. And what it has meant is, especially against Brighton, has been basically the emergence, or now that Arsenal have to, but they are now leaning heavily on Odegaard, Martinelli and Saka. They are now going to those 3 and going, look, right, the training wheels are off now. Jesus is gone for 3 months. We need you to step up. If Arsenal are going to have any sort of pretensions of winning the league, they need 15 goals and 10 assists from all 3 of these. Maybe a few more goals from Martinelli and Saka and a few more assists on Odegaard on that part, but you need around, 60 goals and 40 assists from your front 4 over the course of a whole season. And they need to step up. They've got 7 or 8 each over the course of the season so far. It's half a season. If they keep that up, the numbers are fine. Happy days. But like I said, Jesus is gone. And what happened against Brighton was very simple. We've seen Arsenal, when they get the ball, they now fall into this familiar shape, especially when Zinchenko is playing. Zinchenko will go here, Gabriel will go here, Saliba will go here, and Ben White, who has been, I won't say rehabilitated as an Arsenal player, because he's always played well at centre-back, but now he's almost like in that hybrid right-back role, which he played really well for Brighton. He's now playing as a third centre-back, and he can go forward and be progressive on the ball. Partey goes here, and then Martinelli, Xhaka, Nketiah, Odegaard and Saka. And they would push up the field as far as possible. Against West Ham, it was laughable how far up they were up the pitch. It was this at one stage. It was remarkable how everyone was in the West Ham box, and for an hour, West Ham were just more than happy to literally just stand there and say you're not getting the ball through. And then Arsenal did twice in 5 minutes, and that was the end of the game. Brighton, of course, don't do that. Brighton are very good at keeping the ball so that you don't have opportunities to press them in the first place, but also just making sure that you have no space and no time. They are a poor man's Arsenal. They are a good side. They've beaten really good teams this year. And yes, they're missing McAllister. Yes, they're missing, a couple of players, missing Casido, etc. But they're still a well-coached side, even after Graham Potter's gone. And what happened, basically, on Saturday evening was both sides looked at the left-backs when they had possession of the ball, or the left-hand side for Arsenal, and Brighton's right hand side, basically this side of the field, and went, well, if Arsenal's left back's going to end up here when they lose the ball around here, and if Brighton's right back is going to be here when they lose the ball, then who's defending here? And the answer is no one. And that happened all game. All game long, Brighton kept probing away, trying to, get a little gap down Arsenal's left-hand flank, and got nowhere, whilst Arsenal attacked Lamptey at will. They just sent gunner after gunner after gunner and overwhelmed him. And Lamptey's a really good right back. He's a really good, really quick right back. He is Bellerin the year after he made his debut. Like, he's that good. He's still a little bit raw defensively, but he has all the athletic skills that you need to make up for it. So that if you do make a mistake, you can, recover back, unless someone plays one of the greatest assists ever in the history of the Premier League. More on that later. But all game, Arsenal were trying to exploit this. Or more to the point, this. Martinelli, we've seen for the start of the season, has been very, very, very wide left. Because Zinchenko is tucked in, and Xhaka would be almost here sometimes because Jesus would go in here, trying to give Martinelli a little bit of an out, so that Odegaard had here free, and then Xhaka's job would be getting the box. Without Jesus, Nketiah's job is very simple: occupy whichever centre back the side of the ball is on. So if Saka has the ball, Nketiah basically stands on Caldwell's toes and goes, "Look, I'm going to run in here. I'm going to go here. If you don't man mark me, I'm going to go here." So just trying to give Saka as much space on Estupiñán as possible so that you can attack him one-on-one. Didn't work so bad, but they didn't have to do it so many times because whenever the ball came over here, Lamptey was like, "Okay, just go over here. I don't mind." And Martinelli went, "Okay, I'm just as good as my left foot as I am on my right." And that's exactly how they got the third goal. It's simple as. Don't couldn't double team him because don't get Nketiah behind him. And Martinelli takes a shot with his left, and Nketiah gets the ball first ahead of Sanchez, but on the rebound, it's 3-0. Like, it's little things like that Arsenal are now able to pull off because Martinelli's a credible threat by himself and Saka's a credible threat by himself. And just with this 3-2-5 that they can play, Gabriel good with the long passes, Saliba good with the ball at his feet, Ben White good with the ball at his feet. Whenever Arsenal did have to pass their way out, and Brighton did try and press, they were easily able to pass out because they know they've got all these options. They know where to be. If Mitoma comes in narrow, Saka goes wide. If Mitoma goes wide, Partey comes deep. They know now what to do in certain situations where Brighton are pressing. And then when Brighton have the ball, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's basically 4-4-1-1. And what they're trying to do is invite Brighton onto them. Try and drag them in. Try and almost, get them into a situation where, yes, they will have the ball in dangerous situations, but you trust your defence to stay disciplined. Let Trossard make these runs in front of you. Don't let him get behind. If Gross, Gilmore and Lallana want to play through balls, make sure Mitoma doesn't get behind. A job that Ben White did very well, and then Tomiyasu didn't, leading to 3-1. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait. And the reason for waiting is this. I've come up with this. I've seen several replays both on Brighton.com and on YouTube and I've tried to put together where the players were when Xhaka gets the ball, because Brighton have nearly scored here. The ball has come back out. You know, Solly March has put a ball across the box. It's come to Xhaka, who's playing deep. Kieran Tierney has come on instead of Zinchenko. And Xhaka is looking for an outball. Aren't many, really. Odegaard sees this and makes himself available. And if you're ever wanting to play soccer, if you're ever looking for a tip on what you should do if you want to play central midfield, Odegaard does the one thing that everybody has to be able to do when playing this position. And Cesc Fabregas might have been the best ever at it. First thing he does, he looks. He doesn't look this way. He doesn't look this way. He looks that way. He's looking all the way up there. He is looking, right, who's ahead of me? Because he's trying to build a picture in his head. Can I make a pass? Can I make a ball? Can I get something going here that would just relieve a bit of pressure? Or can I be better and actually set something up? And this is where training and months of repetition of pressing patterns and unselfish work all comes together in the space of half a second to set up one of the best passes you'll ever see in your life. Because Xhaka gets the ball here, Odegaard runs, and his marker follows him. Nketiah looks and he sees, right, okay, I know Odegaard doesn't want to pass me the ball. I've seen him look this towards me, but I know full well this is a shocking ball to play because I've got a centre back on me. But Nketiah also looks this way, and he sees it's one-on-one between Martinelli and Lamptey, which is a foot race. Lamptey is one of, like I said, one of the quickest fullbacks in the league, if not the quickest fullback. And what we're learning rather rapidly about Martinelli is that his yard of pace is very underestimated, as he proves in about 5 seconds. But what Nketiah does is brilliant. He just keeps coming short towards the ball because Lewis Dunk now has to credit him. He has to credit him with at least, if Nketiah gets the ball here, I've just seen 3 days ago Nketiah spin a lad, get into a box and go. So I have to give him credit. I have to stay touch tight to him. So that brings Dunk out of the equation. Everyone else is pushed forward. Partey, Xhaka plays the ball there. What's Partey do? Step back. Why? Because he wants to bring Arman out of the way. And then Odegaard picks up the ball and he's there. Now, if you hadn't seen that pass, where would you want to pass that with your left foot? Bear in mind, you're running this way and you can't take a touch. Right? Most people are going to loft it around here, right? They're gonna make the assumption that if I put it around here, I can give Martinelli a chance. But Odegaard doesn't give Martinelli just a chance. Odegaard puts it in such a position where only Martinelli can get it. He takes Lamptey completely out of the equation by making sure that the pass doesn't go any further than this line here. If I could draw a line, I would. But if you draw an imaginary line between Martinelli and Lamptey and go all the way there, if it goes that side, all Lamptey has to do, Martinelli can be as quick as he wants. All Lamptey has to do is step ahead of him. Because he is ahead of him. When Odegaard passes the ball, Lamptey is ahead of Martinelli. It's not by much, but he's ahead of him. And he's quick. So if the ball is looped around Lamptey can just step inside, and now Martinelli squeezed in. And no matter, even if Martinelli gets the ball, Lamptey can hold him up. Because he did a good job holding him up at certain stages during the game for the cavalry to come back. So of course you're saying, well, Stephen, sure, just play it here then. Go watch the replay again. The ball doesn't reach here. The ball stops here. The ball has to stop here. Because if it doesn't, Sanchez gets it. Sanchez is one of the best sweeper keepers in the league. Sanchez has to go back because the ball doesn't travel far enough for him to come get it. So not only has Odegaard got that he can't work in, he can't pass it probably any further than that. If he puts it too far to Lamptey's side, now Martinelli's going to have to go run almost around Lamptey. Never mind past him. Because Lamptey, again, can just run in a straight line. Martinelli would have to go almost around him. The only place Odegaard could put it is there. He's exactly where he did put it. But he can't even just put it there, because if he hits it straight, obviously it's going to hit Nketiah, it's going to hit Dunk. So he's got to whip it round here. Anybody who's ever taken a shot, whipping it round, you always put it. You always put it. So Odegaard almost has to aim about another about 5 yards back. So when he's kicking the ball, he's probably aiming it to do this, to go around, knowing full well that he's just going to pull it just because natural technique makes anyone pull it when they're hitting on the instep. It is stupid how good this pass is. And for him to see that 10 seconds after Arsenal have almost gone 3-2 down, to pull it off and to put it in the spot where both of them run at full pace and Martinelli gets there. And if there is one criticism of this goal, it's the fact that when Martinelli gets here, he's through on goal, Lamptey's behind him, but Lamptey still puts a foot in, still puts him off. Look where Saka is when you see the video. If Martinelli misses that, if Martinelli doesn't score there, I've never seen Bukayo Saka lose his temper. His temper before, and I would lay good money that Bukayo Saka has never lost his temper before. But if that's me and he misses from there, I am. There is, there's slaps, and it's a testament to the confidence Martinelli has in his own ability. He's like, no, I'm taking this shot, I'm going to score, I know. And he did, but this is the level of confidence this team is playing at right now, where they can make pinpoint balls whilst being under the cosh. They're 3-1 up, but they're under the cosh. Nearly goes to 3-2, and then 7 seconds later, the game's over at 4-1. Yes, Brighton brought it back to 4-2, but Saliba has come back from being in the French camp after sitting on his backside for a month. It's going to take him a couple of games to get back to, the pace needed. And look, Ben White can play centre back. Tomiyasu, again, another lad who needs games. He can play right back. There are options available for Arsenal if they need to give someone a rest. It's okay. Oxford's coming up after the Newcastle game. So this team's in good shape. This team is playing well. It understands its roles. What I don't like at the moment is just the fact that it's either or right now. Yes, Saka and Martinelli are both contributing, but we're getting to the stage where once Arsenal figure out a plan, they're very, very reticent to go away from it. And that sounds silly, but Arsenal will find a plan. It'll work. But you can see here, once Martinelli got the ball once on Lamptey, it kept going that way, and it kept going that way, and for a lot of the second half, Arsenal were predictable. Again, 3-1 and 4-2 up, but Brighton just knew, okay, we'll just keep Lamptey back a little bit, and then Arsenal had nothing. So there's still room to grow in this Arsenal team. There's still a lot of places where Arsenal can, tweak things here and there, but they've just gone to Brighton, one of the hardest places to play, and got, scored 4, but even their XG is almost at 3. They are creating high quality chances and lots of them. And you look at the league table, and they're 7 points clear. And as I said at the start of the video, it's like, well, are you, a lot of people are saying it's Arsenal's to lose. A lot of people are saying Arsenal are favourites. That, every team that has been in this position in the history of English football has won the league from here, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go there yet, and here's why. Arsenal still have to play these lads twice, these lads twice, these lads away, and these lads away. It's not like we've got like 20 easy fixtures left to go in the Premier League, and we still have a lot of hard games to come. But what's making me look up travel reservations for up and top buses is this. Manchester City are the best place to beat us, right? They're still the best team in the league. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games in the next 2 months. Right? Arsenal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, fixture congestion, we might now think that the World Cup is over. It's still here. You know, we are still going to be riddled with football on every day for the next few months. But look at the teams City have to play. Like I said, I know Arsenal have still, you know, their next 3 games are Newcastle United, or Newcastle Tottenham United. Chelsea on the 5th, Chelsea on the 8th, Southampton away, League Cup, yeah. United derby, 5 days later, Tottenham. Handy one versus Wolves, Tottenham again, Villa, who just went to Tottenham, us, Forest, probably beat Forest, and then Champions League. It's getting to the stage where it's not so much you look at the table and you go, yes, Arsenal can't go 16 games and win 14, draw 1, lost 1. They're not going to repeat this form, but who's the team that's going to put a 10-game winning run to catch us? If Arsenal do lose 3 or 4 games in the next 10, so could City, so could Newcastle, so could United. Like it's not. This gap is looking more and more like a cushion than it is, you know, a sense of a gap, because Arsenal can now afford to be as bad as everyone else. And here comes City going into one of the worst bits of fixture congestion ever seen, with a striker. Yes, it's Erling Haaland, but they readily admit he's been held together with blue tack and sellotape right now. So I don't know. Maybe it's me. You know, maybe it's been so long since I've done one of these things that I'm being too optimistic, and I think Arsenal actually might win the title from here. But they're playing well. They look like they're being active in the transfer market. Their rivals are playing like dog manure right now, and we're winning. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I can't even think of anything bad to say to contradict my own sense of self-esteem. Huh. I'll come up with something for Tuesday night. We will beat Newcastle, though, I hope. We'll talk to you next time, viewer. Cheers.